I see it. I see the confusion, the frustration, the fear. You're feeling it, and I know what you're thinking. There's got to be an easier way to remember things. Remembering names, faces, numbers, words. Is it really just rote memorization over and over? Because that seems impossible. How can I expect my brain to hold on to more stuff when it can barely hold on to anything? And hey, I see you. I see the exhaustion, the overwhelm, the feeling that it's too late because you've forgotten too much. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, okay, but what if I've already forgotten too much? What if I've wasted too many years being scattered, foggy, lost in the scroll, numbed by noise? Let me tell you something. You haven't missed your moment. You are the moment. This isn't about going back. This is about waking up, because your mind, it's not gone. It's just been waiting, like a stage, lights dimmed, curtain closed, breath held, waiting for you to walk back in and say, I'm ready to remember. And maybe you're wondering how much of this is actually about memory. Because I know you're skeptical. I know you're wondering what tricks there are, what hacks, what workarounds. But let me challenge you on that for a second. Because what if this isn't really about memory? What if it's about something bigger? What if it's about possibility? Because here's what most people don't get. Remembering isn't about the past. It's about possibility. When you remember who you were, you reconnect with who you can still become. That's why this matters. That's why it's worth it. Because memory isn't a filing system. It's a mirror, a time machine, a compass. And when it's unlocked, everything shifts. You don't just remember facts. You remember strength. You remember joy. You remember your why. And the truth is, you've been holding memories inside you that you haven't accessed in years. Not because they're lost, but because no one showed you how to open the door. So let's open it. Let's go there. You know what's wild? There are memories waiting for you on the other side of that breath. Stories, lessons, ideas, names you thought you lost, feelings you buried, dreams you whispered once under your breath when no one was listening. They're not gone. They're waiting. You ever walk into a room and suddenly remember something from childhood that you haven't thought of in 20 years? That's your brain saying, hey, I kept this for you. You dropped it once, but I knew it mattered. So now it's about trusting yourself enough to go looking again. And yeah, it's going to feel weird at first, like stretching a muscle you haven't used in a while, but it's still there. It's still yours. Start with the little things. The name of your first teacher, the smell of your grandmother's house, that one ridiculous story your best friend used to tell every Friday night. Let it in. Let it warm your chest. Because memory isn't cold. It's not robotic. It's soft, messy, glorious. It's your soul leaving breadcrumbs back to itself. And maybe you're scared of what you'll remember. Maybe there's stuff you don't want to feel again. That's okay. You're not here to relive it all. You're here to reclaim the pieces that make you whole. And I know, it's tempting to keep numbing, to keep scrolling, to keep chasing noise instead of sitting with stillness. But stillness is where the gold is. Stillness is where your memory finally says, hey, now that you're not running, can I show you something beautiful? So do it. And yes, it will take practice. Yes, it will take persistence. Yes, sometimes it will take patience. But the payoff? Oh man, the payoff is worth it. Because remembering isn't a task. It's a homecoming. It's not a chore. It's a celebration. You're not here to check off some arbitrary benchmarks. You're here to reconnect with who you are. Now, I know you're worried about the speed, the pace, the pressure. Are you supposed to be doing this every single day? Well, yes, but also no. Remember, consistency doesn't mean intensity. Consistency means showing up when you can and honoring where you are. If some days all you can do is close your eyes and breathe, that's perfect. Some days all you can do is watch a video, that's a win. Don't let perfectionism steal your peace. You're not here to conquer your brain, you're here to reconnect with it. Be kind to yourself, be curious, be playful, and above all, trust it. Trust the process, trust the system. You know, it's funny how we human beings, we love finding shortcuts, right? We hate putting in the work. So what's the trick here? What's the cheat code? What's the workaround? And here's the thing, there is none. Not in a book, not in a video, not in a conversation. The work is in you. The answer is in you. But if you're willing, I can at least point you in the right direction. Because if you really want to reclaim your memory, if you really want to connect with who you are, here's what you need to do. Let curiosity be your guide. Stop worrying about whether you're doing it right or wrong. Just ask yourself, what do I want to remember and why? Then dive in. Dive into the ocean of your experiences. Swim with the sharks of your emotions. Because here's the secret, the part no one tells you about memory. It thrives on connection. It craves emotion. It lives in stories. So how do you tap into it? By experiencing, by feeling, by living. Connect with your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you touch? Now, I know it sounds simple, almost childish, but here's the power of that simplicity. It works. When you engage your senses, you bypass your rational brain, you trigger your emotional brain. And guess what? That's where memory lives. That's where your experiences are stored. That's where your story unfolds. So don't underestimate the power of simplicity. Don't overthink it. Don't complicate it. Dive in. Dive deep. Dive into the shallow end of your memory and let the waves carry you away. But here's the kicker. Here's the part that separates the dreamers from the doers. You have to put in the work. You have to show up. You have to dive in. Because nothing changes unless you do. Don't wait for inspiration to strike. Don't wait for the perfect timing. Make your own timing. Create your own opportunities. Don't just dream about it. Live it, breathe it, feel it. Because life isn't a spectator sport. Life is experienced. Life is lived. And so is memory. Memory isn't a place you visit. It's a journey you embark on. And the first step on that journey is remembering to live. Remember to breathe. Remember to feel. Remember to experience. Because that's where the magic lives. That's where the real magic lives. That's where your memory truly lies. And the more you live, the more you'll remember. The more you feel, the more you'll know. The more you experience, the more you'll remember. So don't just go through the motions. Dive in, dive deep. Dive into the abyss of your experiences and bring back the treasures, bring back the memories, bring back the story. Because that's who you are, that's where you've always been, and that's where you're always gonna be. And remembering that is remembering yourself. So let me ask you this. What if you made peace with the idea that forgetting isn't failure? It's just your brain saying, hey, I've been juggling flaming swords and trying not to melt from decision fatigue. Can we breathe before we add one more thing? So here's your invitation. Here's your reminder. Here's your permission slip to dive in, to explore, to reconnect. Because the truth is you've always had a remarkable memory. You just needed a reason to use it. You just needed a reason to remember. And that reason is you. That's right. You are your reason. You are your why. And when you remember that, you unlock everything. You unlock your memory. You unlock your potential. You unlock your story. And when that happens, when you remember who you were always meant to be, that's when life truly begins. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. And until next time, remember to breathe. Remember to feel. Remember to experience. Because that's where the magic lives. That's where your memory truly lies. And that's where you're always gonna be.